Okay, Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi to all students. Okay, so today I will brief another experiment number 5 for our MIC 180. Okay, the experiment will be TLC, thin layer chromatography. So the first part I will brief you the procedure or the labs. Okay, and the second part will be the conclusion or the summarize of today's experiments. Okay. So I already upload the video about TLC for all of you to see on your future course content. So it detail how you doing the process of TLC experiment. Okay. Right. So laboratory number 5. So please open your manuals today. So it's about thin layer chromatography. Okay. So first of all, you have to prepare the samples. Okay. So sample will be the groundnut extractions. So how you make it? Okay, number 1, you have to add 4 ml of methanol and 8 ml of chloroform to 5 milligram of ground peanuts. So actually, if in this experiment, this one is known as a unknown samples. Okay, and then mix well, and then all of this you have to centrifuge at 3000 rpm for 5 minutes, and then use the top layer as your samples. Okay, so bila kita centrifuge kita punya sample ni, bahagian atas tu kita ambil. So kita punya apa tu, precipitate ataupun kita punya hasilan bawah tu awak buang. So awak kena filter, right? So cecair tu awak ambil dan kita gunakan untuk dalam eksperimen thin layer chromatography seterusnya, right? Okay, they are using special standards. Number 1 will be olive oil. Number 2, oleic acids. Number 3, cholesterol. Last one will be phosphatidyl choline, right? Okay, quickly go for the methods. So first of all, you have to pour solvent into the chromatography tanks and seal it. So the atmosphere is saturated with the solvent vapors. So this one is done by lab staff. So what actually we pour inside the chromatography tank is the same things that we use for this experiment, which is methanol and chloroform. Okay. Apply a drop of mixture to be separated onto the sheets of the thin layer chromatography. This is the origin of the chromatogram. The spot should be small and concentrated. Repeat for the sample 2 or 6 spot. So maksudnya awak kena titikkan sebanyak 6 kali, 2 hingga 6 kali. Now for the standards, 2 spots. Okay. Label the spot. So standard kita ada 4 jenis, betul? Olive, oleic, cholesterol and phosphatidyl cholines. So each of it you have to put the 2 drops. Okay. And then you have to label the spots. Okay. Place the chromatography sheets into the tank. Okay. So when the solvent have nearly reached the tops of the TLC is removed and the position of the solvent front will be marked lightly using pencils. Okay. Continue. Number 6, the chromatogram need to be developed to make the spots visible by using the specific reagents. Okay. So this one we use iodide. Okay, iodide. The chromatograph can be analyzed by measuring the distance traveled by the solvent front and the distance from the origin to the center of each spots. Okay. To calculate the RF or relative front value for each spot, okay, RF equal with the distance moved by the spot, which is samples, and distance moved by solvent or solvent front. From that, you will get the RF value. So what's the meaning of RF value? to identify the component of mixture by the comparing to the standard of RF value, right? So that's what we call question here, all right? What is the mobile phase for the thin layer chromatography? And what's the reagent used to develop the thin layer chromatography? So this one awak nak jawab boleh. So kalau awak nak jawab, boleh tanya jawapan ni kat saya nanti, right? All right, is there any question about the methods today? Ada soalan tentang methods tak?
Tak ada, sir.
Okay, tak ada, tak apa. Okay, we go for our summarize of the experiment, right? Okay, this note is available in your future course content juga. Okay, you can see these notes on the future. All right. So thin layer chromatography notes. Okay, what's actually a TLC? So TLC is a technique used to separate non-volatile mixture. Okay, so this one example of techniques. So what is TLC is made about? Is performed on the sheets of glass, plastic or aluminum foil, which coated with a thin layer of absorbent materials. So what is absorbent material actually? It's a silica gel, aluminum oxide, which is what we call alumina, or cellulose. All right. So thin layer is of absorbent is known as the stationary phase. Okay. So TLC is performed on the sheet of glass. Okay. TLC boleh dibuat atas glass or plastik or aluminium foil. Okay. So dekat tiga-tiga bahan tersebut, right? So this one mestilah disaluti or coated. What types of coated? Coated tu mestilah absorbent materials yang boleh diserap. So what are material inside there? Is a silica gel, aluminum oxide or cellulose. Okay. So bila ada semua tu, so the layer of the absorbent is known as the stationary phase. So layer yang kita buat tu dikenali sebagai stationary phase. Permulaan dia, right? So chromatography stationary phase polarity, okay, ataupun kebolehan dia menolak, okay. So increase polarity bergantung kepada bahan yang kita gunakan ataupun GC stationary phase, okay. For example, we have a polydimethyl silosine, okay, methyl phenyl silosine, cyanopropyl silosine, carbowax, okay, reverse phase, paper, cellulose, starch, calcium sulfate, silica, fluorosil, magnesium oxide, alumina or activated carbon. So semua ni digunakan untuk dekat mana? Dekat kita punya thin layer absorbent materials. So semua bergantung kepada tahap pelekatan bahan yang kita nak gunakan dengan material ni, right? Dan di-increasekan ataupun bergantung kepada polarity. Alright, after the samples have been applied on the plate, or solvent mixture known as a mobile phase tadi is drawn up the plates via the capillary actions. Okay, so kita pakai satu alat yang dikenali sebagai capillary tubes. Okay, because of different analytes extend the TLC plate at the different rates, separation is achieved. Sebab penaikan bergantung kepada berapa berat kita punya samples. Okay. So the mobile phase has a different property from the stationary phase. So mobile tu adalah pergerakan sampel tersebut. So semua sampel-sampel tersebut bergantung kepada tahap kemeruapan dia. So kalau meruap pada ketinggian tertentu, dia akan naiklah sampailah ke yang paling ringan. Okay. So what is elution sequence of functional group? Bergantung kepada silica ataupun alumina TLC or column chromatography. Okay, so the highest and faster which is elute with the non-polar mobile phase, okay, accordingly with the standard here. Okay, so alkane hydrocarbon adalah bahan yang paling berat sekali, so maknanya dia akan berada di bawah. Okay, so alkyl halide, halidase ataupun halocarbon, alkane, okay, yang ketiga, dienase aromatic hydrocarbon, aromatic halidase, ether, ester, ketone, aldehyde, amines, alcohol, phenol, carboxylic acid, and sulfonic acids. So ia bergantung kepada increase the functional group polarity. So maknanya kalau sulfonic acid dia akan berada di atas sekali kita punya TLC punya sheets. Okay. So lowest or slowest need the polar mobile phase to elute. Okay. So daripada semua gambar darjah ni, yang paling berat adalah alkane hydrocarbon. So maknanya dia akan berada di bawah sekali. Okay. So sulfonic acid akan berada di atas dalam kita punya silica ataupun alumina TLC ataupun stationary phase kita. Right? Okay, that's all. So ada soalan tak tentang kita punya thin layer chromatography?
Tak ada.
Okay, anyone else? Ada soalan sebelum kita tamatkan kita punya TLC ni?
Tak ada.
Tak ada sir. Okey je.
Tak ada sir.
Okay, memang tak ada apa-apa So faham stationary phase, mobile phase, faham tak?
Faham.
Faham. Okay. So kau awak nak tengok video lagi? Alright, so penamat dia saya akan tunjukkan video how you done the TLC chromatography dengan satu video okay. So please be ready to see the video. So before we start before we end our